event, Acura of Pembroke Pines. So hit the road in the new ADX. $289 a month. Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
Price, service, selection. Get all this and more at South Florida's #1 loved Subaru store. Subaru of Pembroke Pines. Save today with our 3 ways to save. 0% financing, 0 down payment, or make no payments for 90 days. From Subaru of Pembroke Pines.
This is the Big O Show. 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 This is...
When presenting an award to an employee, athlete, executive, or fantasy GM, make sure you call Orvieto's Awards and More. For 35 years, these custom award specialists have been providing plaques, trophies, custom framing, while providing state-of-the-art laser and computerized engraving, UV printing, and glass crystal etching. They do all their engraving and printing in-house for quality control. Call Charles at 305-949-8098 or visit them at orvietosawards.com. Orvieto's Awards and More, where recognition is rewarding.
Set the rhythm of your smart home with Sloman Shield Link, the new integrated smart home platform that automates your life just the way you want it. Sloman Shield Link, be the maestro of your own home.
When it comes to your smile, confidence is so important. At Moody S Dental, they provide the services to get your smile back. This family-run practice prides itself by offering the latest technology to give your family the best experience possible. Moody S Dental has been in business for over 30 years with offices in Hialeah and Plantation. They accept most major dental insurances. They provide free new patient exams, 20% off select treatments. To qualify, please follow us on Instagram at moodys.dental. Moody S Dental has been in business for over 30 years. To schedule an appointment in Hialeah, call 305-821-0231 and Plantation 954-692-6825. From Invisaligns, dental implants, same-day crowns, and the preventative care and preservation to get your smile back. Go to moodysdental.com to find out more and tell them Big O sent you.
If you're looking to take your home or business to the next level, then RM Contractors can assist you. RM specializes in new residential turnkey, new commercial turnkey, home and office remodeling. Call them for free estimates. Serving all of South Florida, licensed and insured. Call Ray, 305-345-3649. You work hard to create the perfect atmosphere. You dream it, we'll build it. RM Contractors, 305-345-3649 or Instagram at RMC Fisher Island.
Hi, this is Jeff, formerly of Welton Rayon, PA, a longtime sponsor of the Big O Show. Now that Dan retired, I opened Welton Associates. I started this firm with a simple belief. When you hire a lawyer, you should be able to talk to your lawyer. For nearly 30 years, I have helped Floridians through serious legal problems. At my firm, you get direct access to me, clear communication, and a lawyer who knows the details of your case. I believe technology should make legal representation easier, not more impersonal. At Welton Associates, you get direct access to me, clear answers, personal attention, and real advocacy. Look us up at weltlawfirm.com or give me a call at 954-966-4646. Consultations are always free. And let me know that you found me at the Big O Show.
The viewpoints, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website.
Good morning, boys and girls. Ready to rock and roll on a Thursday, August 27th, 2026. Day number 19,219 since the Miami Dolphins were world champions. Day number 9,002 since the Canes were national champions. And day number 4,815 since the Miami Heat were world champions. Welcome, 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 one and all. All right. What do we have to talk about today? I have been tripping out. Obviously, you saw the title on the billboard as fans are very easy to play with. They are. You can play with their feelings, especially the fanatical ones. They're so tied to the team that they take everything personal. And so now, the lazy move is to play the TUA card now. And that's kind of what people are doing because it's the preseason. There's nothing to talk about. The team is not trending upwards. It's going to be a brutal year overall. Writers know that. So let's play the TUA card. And I've talked about Joe Shad several times on the show, how he gaslights constantly. Like he did it the other day with the Marlins. I can't believe how the Marlins would fire the whole staff. And I just retweeted back, like, it's cute how you care about a cheap outfit. You know what I mean? Because I have to, do it like that because I want to downplay it, like, bro, your comment, I get it. There's a lot of people that aren't very bright in the world, and they fall for all this bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I can't believe that the Marlins would fire their entire scouting staff. No, you do believe it because they're cheap, and they don't compete, and they don't keep anybody. So how are you acting surprised with whatever they do? Gaslight. He does it all the time on social media. All the time. But you're easy to play. The media knows that you're an easy target. So they'll sucker you in with the silliest things because it has nothing to do with substance. It's kind of what goes on politically and everything, that they try to tell you about the ballroom and all that stuff and then not talk about the real things that are going on. You know, it's always a falling for the banana in the tailpipe type of situation. So, oh, well, you shouldn't boo Tua. Oh, no, you should boo Tua. Just to create something out of absolutely nothing for a guy that's going to throw a couple of passes and then sit down, and it's not going to be anything big. And I get it. Some of you out there that are in such a hate mode or something, I guess you're dying for him to get injured or intercepted or something like that because it bothers you that he walked away with a whole bunch of money. Which the part that most of you don't get is your anger should be against the Dolphins, not against Tua or Sue or Tannehill or any of the 100 different athletes that have stolen money from the Miami Dolphins over the last few decades. Doesn't matter who you are. Eric Green. Does not matter. Jabril Wilson. Mike Wallace. Does not matter. Your anger is always geared, but writers aren't going to tell you to be angry at the Dolphins. I'll do that because I have balls. So writers will use and radio people will use the lazy way out, and let's create the Tua story because it's a lightning rod and fans will easily get suckered into it. That's how you guys get played constantly for everything. Entertainment, politics, sports. They play you guys like a fiddle. And you all fall for it like the suckers that you are. That's exactly what's going on because there's no substance behind any of this. It's a stupid preseason game. The guy is going to throw a few passes, sit down, means nothing in the end, whether he has success or he doesn't, because really it's about your team, and your team barely plays their guys, so you don't even know what you have on your team. Probably you should be worried about your team and the direction it's going in because clearly it's had no direction for decades. But no, let's just worry about Tua. But again, it's the clickbait world. This is what we live in, the clickbait world. So instead of talking about the real stories and talking about what's really going on, let's talk about stuff that will create the clicks, but it's really not about any substance whatsoever. So consider yourself suckered. Consider yourself played, because that's exactly what the media is doing with the whole Tua topic. Just playing your ass like a fiddle. I hope you enjoy the ride. Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo. Send in your questions, comments, insults. We appreciate it. It does not matter. Of course, you can hit the like button. Get the algorithms going. We appreciate that. Bitcoin, by the way, is at 79,636. So it's turning up. Maybe to go back over 80. We shall see. It's a surprise pump as it is for me. I'm expecting something in late September, early October. That's when I'm expecting the real fireworks. As for the markets, well, the markets right now, the Dow is down a little bit, just 63 points. The S&P's up 25 points. And the NASDAQ is up about a point. SpaceX down about a point. That's about it. That's what's going on right now in the markets. All right, let's get to our 3A Graphix Sports Calendar. The amazing Alan Blanco. Well, the Miami Dolphins yesterday got some good news. Jordan Brooks returned to practice yesterday. Cameron Good, Seyu Traore also had some practice. Robert Beal practiced on a limited basis. Now, the bad news is Jacob Rodriguez was added to the non-practice squad, along with Turner and Grant and Ronnie Harrison and Trey Moore and Zach Sealer and Clennon Farrell and Kazmarek and Donovan Edwards and Ollie Gordon, all those guys. Chris Bell, by the way, is expected to make his debut against the Falcons on Friday. He did practice again yesterday. Falcons, by the way, are favored by 3.5 points. The over and under is 38.5. Falcons minus 185 on the money line. The Dolphins are plus 150. So Vegas is not really expecting much from the Miami Dolphins. What else? Also, Saturday at 7:30, new stadium, Inter Miami, taking on Montreal. Inter Miami minus 240 on the money line. Montreal's plus 500. Dolphins signed running back Coleman Bennett, who was waived by the Bears. And in some great news, the NFL will eliminate the Pro Bowl. Instead, they will choose 88 players who will be selected and honored. And we'll see. I say go back to the quarterback challenge, things like that. Also, one more note. Seth Curry and the Warriors are expected to discuss a contract extension that will keep him there for the entirety of his career, according to Anthony Slater of Yahoo Sports. Some of you gaslighted Heat fans out there also for Steph Curry. There you go. That stupidity also goes by the wayside. That is your 3A Graphix Sports Calendar. If you're looking for custom printing and embroidery, reach out to my guy, Alan Blanco, 786-618-1443. Speaking of getting gaslighted, how about that one too, huh? Saw it on social media. I saw somebody on radio, too, talking about, Seth Curry. Maybe he could come to Miami and this and that. And it's just, I get it, man. There's nothing going on. So let me create a stupid topic that has no substance behind it, like many of the other stupid topics. And there you go. So for all you little silly Heat, sites out there or Heat fanboys and fangirls out there, Steph Curry's not coming here. Okay? There you go. Steph Curry's not coming here. I mean, the stuff that goes on, and I feel sad for sports talk moving forward because it just gets worse and worse and worse every day. It's less about substance. It's more about fluff and bullshit and clickbait, and that's what it's more about because that's what you all are attracted to. You know what I'm saying, in general. So they're doing the smart thing. There's no substance behind it, but they're doing the smart thing because that's what you want. You guys want that kind of stuff. It's more of a tabloid-like society instead of more about substance. So that's how they play it. So there we go. The Steph Curry stuff can end now, right? So that stupidity can end too now? All right. We got that going on. That's been cut off already. What else do we have going on? The injuries. I saw Jacob Rodriguez not practicing yesterday, and just kind of gets to the point where I just wonder about this team and how they're going to last all season long because they don't hit enough. And because they don't hit enough, they aren't necessarily durable. It's really weird. It's funny how remember how some people in the media, well, these guys are practicing a lot more and hitting a lot more than Mike McDaniel. Yeah, they're not hitting enough. Anybody say that, by the way? Are they talking about that they're really not hitting enough? Because they're not. All I hear at the podium is, well, I I don't want to overwork them and this, that, or whatever. And you can't overwork them because your guys are too fragile to get overworked. I don't know what's going on. Jacob Rodriguez, Ollie Gordon, Kaczmarek, the Turner kid, Grant, Sealer, Ronnie Harrison, Trey Moore, Kaczmarek, Donovan Edwards. And it's a long, constant list for the Miami Dolphins. That's why the coach was saying, I don't know if I'm going to play them in the third week. And I'm like, dude, when are you going to play them? What is this? How are you even ready for the regular season? Because you're not. And the worst part about it, which I keep repeating over and over and over again, which the local media, please show me a writer that has written this, if you find it, any of the local guys, okay, even our guy Furones, if they've written it, please show it to me, because I'm not sure I've read it or seen it anywhere. Not that I read all the stuff that goes on with the Dolphins, to be quite honest. It's kind of, not really worth reading all this stuff. But anybody say that you get no real good work on this team? You have a shitty defense and a shitty offense. How does that prepare you? Every other team you're facing has something that's way more established on offense or defense. It's imperative that you get your first teamers facing real NFL competition, because daily you're not facing real NFL competition. You're facing a lot of inexperienced NFL competition and a bunch of other guys that are not even NFL. That's not really how you prepare yourself. Again, it's early. We'll find out. But I got to say, not impressed with it so far. Hopefully the results are better. But I kind of watch what's going on, and man, I don't remember even the injury list being this much when Jimmy Johnson and Wanstead were coaching, or even Shula, and they were hitting like crazy. Inside drills every morning, all that kind of. I don't remember the injury lists being this long. I really don't. And I used to take roster roll call every single practice. Jimmy would be coming onto the field out of the thing, and he'd look at me and go, "You take attendance every day? See who's here, who's not?" "Yes, yeah, coach." And he'd laugh and just go, because he technically didn't want us tracking all of that. You know what I mean? He it's a psychological game. Make fun of you, demean it, right? But technically he doesn't want you in his shit. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't care. Whatever you say, whatever, dude. I'm going to do my job whether you like it or not. And I don't remember, and I used to do them all day, every single day. And I don't remember them being this long. And they hit a lot more in those days, and they had 2-a-days. Okay? I mean, you can go back to when I was a kid, they had 3-a-days. But it's crazy what goes on now. I just don't understand it. But that list is constantly a long list of injured players. And there's way too much coddling going on, I think, but that's just me. We shall see. All right. Let me get some music out of the way. How about that? Let's do that right now. Let's do a little birthdays. All right, let's go with famous people born on this date, which is August 27th. We always start off with musicians born on this date. Kim Petras, the German singer and songwriter, born in 1992. Mario, R&B singer, born in 1986. Sarah Neufeld from Arcade Fire, born in 79. Maze, the U.S. male rapper, Mason Betha, born in 77. Let's see, Tony Kanal from No Doubt, the bassist, born in 1970. Glenn Matlock from the Sex Pistols, the bass guitarist, born in 56. The great Alex Lifeson from Rush, the guitarist, born in 53. Kevin Cavanaugh from Johnny and the Asbury Jukes, born in 51. David Knight of Gladys Knight and the Pips, born in 47. Tim Bogert from Vanilla Fudge, bass guitarist. And that is musicians. Now let's move over to famous people born on this day. Remember, if I don't give you an age, that means they have passed away. Like Lyndon Baines Johnson, the 36th President of the United States, born in 1908. Musician actor Tommy Sands, born in 37, he's 89. Actor Paul Rubens, Pee Wee Herman, born in 52. World Golf Hall of Fame member Bernard Langer, born in 57, he is 69. Actor Peter Mensah, born in 59, he's 67. Always plays like this. He plays a role of like a warrior and all, and he always plays a great role too there. Musician Bobo from the Beastie Boys, Cypress Hill, born in 68, 58. Actress Sarah Clark, born in 76, 50. Actor Sean Weiss, born in 78, 48. Actor Aaron Paul, born in 79, 47. Actor Tiffany Boone, born in 87, she's 39. Actor Blake Jenner, born in 92, 34. And musician Rod Wave, born in 98, 28. Oh, and one more. Actress Ariana Greenblatt, born in 2007. She's 19. Bless her. 2007, dude. That is young. All right, let's move over to what happened today in music history. And we'll start off in 75. Donna Summer released her second studio album. Damn it. Love to Love You, Baby, and it features a 16-minute and 48-second title track. In 79, Pat Benatar released her debut studio album, In the Heat of the Night, and it features Heartbreaker. Pat Benatar was the second video played ever on MTV, I believe. Buggles first, and I think Pat Benatar was second. You Better Run? Was it that, I think? Anyway, in 80, B-52s released her second studio album, Wild Planet. In 88, Tracy Chapman released her self-titled debut hit album, #1 in the U.S. with Fast Car. Peaked at number 6. That song wore me out quickly. And then she did nothing else again, at least that I liked. In 91, Toad the Wet Sprocket released her third studio album, Fear, and it features All I Want and Walk on the Ocean. All I Want is a terrific song. In 94, now we're talking, Boyz II Men started a 14-week run at #1 on the U.S. singles charts with I'll Make Love to You. Ultimately, they knocked themselves out of the #1 slot with their follow-up hit, On Bended Knee. I like Boyz II Men. They are fantastic. Speaking of fantastic, in 96, Outkast released their second studio album, AT-Aliens, or Atlians, if you want. It features Elevators, Atlians, and Jazzy Bell. In 96, Pearl Jam released their fourth studio album, No Code, and it features Who Are You and Hail Hail. In 2001, Bjork released her fifth studio album, Vespertine. It features the singles Hidden Place, Pageant Poetry, and Cocoon. She was already out of gas by then. In 2001, New Order released her seventh studio album, Get Ready, and it features Crystal. In 2008, Gnarls Barkley, Danger Mouse CeeLo, performed at the Minnesota State Fairground. They get everything. I'm telling you, move to Minnesota, you'll get every band at the State Fairground. In 2013, Depeche Mode performed at the Minnesota State Fairground. Ha! And let's see who else. And that is it. Let's see if there's any birthdays that weren't on the original list. Jeff Cook of Alabama, born today in 1949. Jimmy Pop of the Bloodhound Gang is 54. And that is it. And that's what happened today in music history. All right, man. All right, got some of that stuff out of the way. Now we can just talk sports. All right, let's do a little roll call. Got here Jeff in Long Island. Thank you, sir. Don't forget, smash the like button. Why would anybody want to boo TUA? People are gonna boo him, whatever. There's not much substance to talk about football wise. So this is what it is. Good morning to you, Kosa, Big Johnson, Alexis Palenzuela, Oscar Rojas, Horn Dog, Jaybird in the house. He says, good interview posted on the channel with David Furones yesterday. I made sure to like and hype. Thank you. Got the David Furones interview on there. We got Mike Jones did a really nice job. Doug Farrar from SB Nation and Athlon, and I've known Doug for many, many years. Great NFL insider. Antoine Staley. So there's a bunch of interviews there that we've posted on the site. Check them out. Hit the like button. And today we had a guest, but unfortunately had to cancel. So we're going to reschedule him tomorrow. Man, tomorrow we are loaded, dude. We got a bunch of guests tomorrow. So we'll be all over the place tomorrow from Acura of Pembroke Pines. The B Rob is in the house. Fitzgrass is checking in from Naples. Let's see. Andrew Mann, Skylar Tipton, Lenny Pena. Our Finns are going to suck this year, but it's expected. We need to brace ourselves for a tough season. Let's focus on the small positives. Exactly. Well, it all depends. I mean, there are people out there that think they're going to win like 8 or 10 games. So, I don't know. Maybe we're wrong. Maybe we're not reading this. Seth is in his brother Big O. What does that mean? I'm not sure. You went over me on that one. I've been saying that the Dolphins team needs to play more of their starters, game time situations. I really don't get it. You don't get really good work against your own team. You don't. Your team sucks. Your team sucks on both sides of the ball. You really needed to play more of the competition that you had in preseason. I think you kind of, ruined an opportunity, unfortunately. So, let's see. Pat in Asheville. Oh, back in those days, teams had docs giving out various painkillers like candy. They also had cattle call lines to get Toradol shots before games. I get it, but, I don't know how you play a game that you're constantly missing and you're paying even more money nowadays, more guarantees, and they're not guaranteed to be out on the field a lot. It's just kind of weird that we're paying more, not we, but, well, actually you all are too, because you pay more to go to a game, to watch it on a platform, to buy a hat or a shirt. You're paying more and more and more, so more money's going in to pay for players. You're giving them more money, and they're playing less. It's weird. It's just weird. And I get it that they were doing other things, but, man. Just glad that I lived another era
That was way better than this era. That's for damn sure. Horn Dog, that's my second favorite album by Outkast. Played it every day in college. They're so good, man. They're so good. Problem also, if you want them back now like any of us would they be able to recapture their magic? It's hard. Look at Deshaun Watson. That happens in every walk of life. Does not matter. And if you're this far away and this far removed from doing it, to get right back on the horse again, I bet you Outkast cannot create that magic again. As much as I would want them to come back, you would want them to come back, they won't be able to do it. It's there's something to it. I'm not saying that everybody's like that, but I'll say 99% of the time, once they walk away, unless they come back right away, if they're away for years, you'll never get them again. And those guys are young enough, but now I think it's so much time removed that they won't be able to recapture that magic. Because damn, they were good. Damn, they were creative. Yeah, really good. What a shame. But that's how it goes. And once you call it quits, it's really, really hard. You know, one of my favorite bands back in the day when I was young was Boston. And as I got older, it died out. Why? Because they never came up with music. And it took them forever. And they got lucky that Don't Look Back was really good years later. And then even Third Stage was acceptable. And that was even longer. But then after that, it's just, and it just, there's something about striking fire when it's happening. And for artists, when you're on a roll, you got to keep painting. You got to keep creating until that creative bubble is gone. And then look at U2. They've never stopped. They've continued to make music, and they continue to make great music overall. But they don't stop. They're constantly doing it. I believe once you give up on something like whatever it is that you do and you wait a few years, it's going to be so hard to come back and recapture that magic and that groove that you had at that time. I'm not saying it's impossible. Of course, anything is possible. Freak situations happen. But the norm is once you let it go, it's gone. It's gone. And to recapture that same magic. So as much as I would like to see Outkast come back, if they did, it probably wouldn't be anything like it was before. You know, that's the part that would suck about it, as much as we miss them. Because, damn, they were good, Horn Dog. Really good. Fitzgrass, what's the deal with LSU? They hired Lane Kiffin, bro. Sometimes you add people to your organization and certain things come with them, right? If you trade or sign Angel Reese, you're going to get a whole bunch of shit that comes with it. If now we have found out that if you draft and sign Cam Skattebo, well, a lot of stupidity and ignorance is going to come with it, right? And that's kind of what it is. You hired Lane Kiffin. Well, Lane Kiffin has been controversial and a problem wherever he's been. Tennessee, the Raiders, Alabama's coordinator, down at FAU, now at Ole Miss stuff, now here at LSU. It comes with the territory. Look at the guy you put in the White House. Chaos constantly. It's always been that way. All the way back. See, the thing is, I'm smarter than you idiot MAGA morons. I already experienced it with this moron back in the USFL, and then I saw him bankrupt other so I didn't get fooled. But apparently a bunch of you idiots got suckered, and you put him in the White House. And what comes with it? Chaos. Just people are like that. certain people that you add are going to bring chaos to your situation, no matter what it is in any walk of life. You know who they are, and once you bring them on and you sign them to your organization, you bring them onto your team, you elect them, whatever it is, you know what comes with the territory. You hired Lane Kiffin. Shayna. They bought their tickets. They knew what they were getting into. I say, let them crash. That's how it goes. So that's what's going on at LSU. You hired Lane Kiffin. Welcome aboard. You traded for Angel Reese. Here it goes. Right? That's just kind of the way it goes. Oh, you want Tyreek Hill? Well, certain things come when you bring in Tyreek Hill, and we learned, right, that certain things come with it. Certain people bring that to it. Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield was a volatile person at Oklahoma, a volatile person at Cleveland, then got a little bit awry, and now he's back in Tampa. They didn't give him his money. Now he's turning volatile again. Comes with the territory. So you know what you're hiring, or maybe you don't. Well, here we go. That's what's going on with LSU, my brother. You hired Lane Kiffin. Comes with the territory. Let's see what else. No, Ray. No, Sean has got a new career going, and a better career because it's got insurance. So he needs insurance. I can't provide insurance. And this show, as I've mentioned many, many times over the years, it will be a mobile show in the near future where I won't be here all the time. I will be in other countries, is what I'm expecting to do. So I've got to learn to be a little bit more mobile, and that's kind of the way it goes. So the show has been pared down slowly but surely over the last 2 years, and it's a different show now than it was a couple of years ago, where it was, a whole bunch of sports writers coming on and all that kind of stuff, and that bored me quickly, by the way. Yeah, so I've got to be a little bit more mobile. So that's how it goes. So, yeah, and Sean and I are still in contact. In fact, we were chatting yesterday and all that. But I'm super happy for him. Super happy for him. Because obviously we don't take care of our veterans in this country. And the VA doesn't do enough for him, as any of you that know, that have any veterans in your life. So he needed something that provided him and his family better support, dude. And this show's not going to be able to provide health care. So that's it. It's pretty simple. And that's the way it goes, my brother. And we evolve and we move on, and we do it the right way, and all that good stuff. So let's see. How the hell does Myles Garrett stay so healthy? What a freak. He's very dedicated. Yeah, I agree. Skylar Tipton says, I think one of the few art forms where that doesn't happen is acting. I'm an actor myself, and I've seen a lot of actors that take time away to raise family and life experiences make them better actors. Yeah, but acting is different because acting, although you could get on a roll and then you do die out, right? Because Demi Moore is not Demi Moore anymore. She's not demanding the same box office stuff like she was when she was on a roll and doing all those roles. So actors do get on a roll and then it dies out and then you move on. But you can come back and do acting. Now, is it at the same level when we're talking about like superstar level? That's kind of hard, actually. If you do kind of get away from it to get back on and be the same superstar you were, that's not easy either. Yeah, so I would say that even in acting that could happen also, because I've seen actors that they're on a great role and then boom, it ends, and And if they move away from Hollywood, oh, by the way, I've read, that's not true, Skylar. I've read many actors that have walked away from Hollywood and moved away, and because they moved away from Hollywood, it took them out of roles. And they lost on roles because they weren't in the middle of the action. So I've seen that too for actors. Could they take some time off and come back? Sure. But what I'm talking about is maintaining a level where you're at. You have to stay at, like Tom Cruise. He stays at it, dude. Constantly. He's never out of the limelight. The second you try to get out of the limelight, oh, I'm going to take a break, I'm going to take a couple steps back, it's really hard to climb back up to where you were. Really is. So I actually disagree with you. Now that I'm thinking about it, disagree with you also on that one. Horn Dog, Outkast will never create new music together again. Andre 3000 has no interest in doing so. All I want is a final concert. Now that would be cool. I agree with that. Like a tour, like a goodbye tour or something. That would be cool. By the way, Andre 3000 may not want to do music again because he's afraid. Outkast set a standard, dude. And when you come back, you can't meet that standard, then you get criticized and all that good stuff. There could be I'm not going to say there could. There's a part of Andre 3000 that is afraid to do that because he knows deep down inside to recapture that magic again is going to be near impossible. So if you try it, you're probably going to fail. And he doesn't want to fail. Why fail? Leave what your legacy's so awesome, leave it intact. Don't try to come back and do something that it's just not going to live up to what you did in the past. So I'm sure there's a part of him that is shitting bricks and doesn't want to try it because he's afraid to fail and not live up to what they left, which is Hall of Fame. They're not in the Hall of Fame yet, right? They will be. That's for damn sure. Maybe they haven't also because they're still young enough that they could get together or whatever, but they'll be in the Hall of Fame. They'll be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Guaranteed. That's what they left. They left Hall of Fame material. Big O, another band like that is the Stones. I think they're planning to come out next year with another album. Yeah, I know. They don't stop. Actually, this last album is pretty good. It's got some pretty good tunes. You're talking just Hollywood though. A lot of actors, but Skylar, I'm talking about like being a high level athlete, being a high level actor, being a high level whatever it is. The second you step away from the spotlight to try to regain that fame again, it's just near impossible. I'm telling you, just is. The second you walk away and take a break, you pretty much have put your career down at that point. And if you try to come back, it's just usually never going to be the same again. It's just hard. When you're hot, you got to everybody's got to keep it going. That's just the way life is. You can't just take a break for 10, 20 years and say, oh yeah, I'll go do it and I'll come back with another great album and another phenomenal movie that is award winning and all that, and I'm taking 10 and 15 year breaks. No, that's not going to happen, dude. It's not. There's a good chance you will fail. Yeah, that's what I would tell you. Many people have told me that I'm a better actor than Tom Cruise. I'm versatile and can cry while watching the Dolphins games, not acting. Strong. That's strong on your part. Yeah. Yep. Is it John Lennon stopped for 5 years and came back strong with Double Fantasy. Also helped that he got killed. Yep. That really helped. Yep. All right, what else do we have going on that we want to talk about? Oh, God. This is good. And I got to tell you, I am praying for the Jets because I read this crazy article, and I say it because they're trying to predict something that comes down the line, and I have no idea if it'll happen or whatever, but this dude here, Zach Wasink, yard barker, he talks about the Jets possibly going after Mike Tomlin. But he's not as crazy. Why? Because now there are insiders talking about it. Okay? So Mike Tomlin currently working as an analyst on NBC. So on Wednesday, NFL insider Jason La Canfora spoke with an executive who knows Jets owner Woody Johnson, and he says about the rumors of Tomlin with the gangrene. Woody is starting to ask a lot of questions, the executive told La Canfora. Remember, you can't stay away very long. So this will be his 1 year. If he comes back, get back on the horse. You stay away 5-10 years, and you want to come back. It's going to be hard. He's doing his homework on Tomlin. This one has legs. I'm telling you, Mike is in New York at Rockefeller Center for NBC. Woody is back in charge at the facility, and he knows how steep the competition will be. You're going to hear a lot about this with the Jets. Now, it's not the part that I'm kind of laughing at if the Jets get Mike Tomlin. Okay. By the way, to give you an example of it actually working out for somebody, Dick Vermeil. Dick Vermeil was away for a long time, and he was able to come back and win a title. Very hard to do. It can happen, like I told you, but it's rare. Now, La Canfora adds more here. Sources close to Johnson note that securing Tomlin would be viewed internally as a massive victory, particularly given his proven ability to navigate high-pressure media markets. However, multiple vacancies expected, Tomlin would command top-of-the-market contract alongside significant authority over football operations. Yeah, I think he's not going to pick the Jets if there's better organizations available. Plus, you don't have to deal with Woody Johnson, and as you can tell, Woody Johnson is back in the mix. If Tomlin takes the reins in New York, the Jets boast premium draft capital, and here's where I'm loving it, including 3 first-round selections. There's a belief Jackson would strongly evaluate the destination, La Canfora wrote. The pair share a deep mutual respect built over the years, AFC North battles, and New York's defensive core provides an immediate foundation for a contender. Combined with Johnson's history of pursuing marquee names and Tomlin's preference for veteran quarterbacks, the alignment is clear. So they feel that Lamar Jackson could be in the mix and use those 3 first-rounders to trade for him. I would love to see that. One, I think Lamar Jackson's not going to have a great year this year, so that's going to be a problem when it's all said and done. I don't think he's going to get that contract that he wants. Mayfield's another one that I think is going to struggle this year with the Bucs, and that's going to mess up his stuff. So I don't think that will be the case, that he'll command 3 first-rounders or anything, but I would love for it to happen. One, because Jackson's not a guy that I fear, and 2, he's already over the hill at this point. A running quarterback at this age is just, it's all downhill from there. Plus, it would be so Jets to give up 3 first-rounders for him. That would be awesome. That would be fantastic. To do that at this age would be incredibly stupid, and all the injuries that have been piling up the last couple of years. One, I don't think Tomlin, I do believe that Woody Johnson would go after Mike Tomlin, and the way Aaron Glenn, it went for him last year, it's not like I really have a lot of hope for him this year. Plus, you're in the Jets. It's a really difficult organization to win. I just don't think Mike Tomlin will consider the Jets when there'll be better organizations with less baggage that will be available. But my Lord, would I love to see them trade the house for Lamar Jackson at this stage of his career. That would be fantastic. I would laugh my ass off. The Seahawks and All-Pro Leonard Williams are nearing an agreement on a 3-year deal extension per sources, according to Jeremy Fowler, Williams is doing another big extension with Seattle after a massive season. They got it going on there, dude. That's for damn sure they got it going on. Don't forget to smash the hell out of the like button. You can also, Outcast they were inducted last year? Okay, good. There you go. I always get confused with that stuff. Who's in, who's out, because these idiots don't allow the people that are supposed to be in all the time. So that makes sense. Anyway, you can make a donation to the show, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo. We are over 80,000 again at Bitcoin, 80,119. As for the stock market, the Dow is now up 149 points. The S&P is up 36. The NASDAQ is up 0.5 point. And SpaceX up 0.25 point right now. So that's what you got going on. Let's see. John Lennon stopped 5 years, came back. Yes, Outcast, Hall of Fame. Tom Cruise is such a good actor. He could even make Chuck Norris cry and Dolly Parton cuss. He is phenomenal, dude. How he just constantly produces great movie after great movie. Although I will say the last Mission Impossible, not that good. It might be the worst one of them all. Yeah, it was a little over the top for that one. Got to admit, wasn't that impressed with that one. All right, what else do we have going on? The Pro Bowl being eliminated by the NFL. I mean, listen, either way, I wasn't watching. I don't care because it's garbage for over 10 years. It's been easily 10 years or more that I haven't been watching the Pro Bowl. In fact, the last time, where was the Dallas? When was the Dallas Super Bowl? Let's see. Oh man, let's see. Last time Super Bowl was in Dallas. Okay, because I watched it by accident. That was the last time. No, not when Dallas won a Super Bowl. Oh, anyways, because it tells me when Dallas won the Super Bowl. Anyway, it was probably a little more than 10 years ago, 12, 14 years ago or something. There was an ice event and everything. And I remember Brandon Rodriguez, my producer then, was sick as a dog. I had to get in the car and go get him some medicine. I was driving literally 5, maybe 8, 9 miles an hour. And people that tried to go 20 or 25, they were power sliding into walls and stuff. And I was like, yeah, I'm not doing this. So it took me over an hour to get to the place and back, which was only a mile away. But I was going so slow and being so careful so I would not, hydro slide or anything. And I remember, and so we went to a cigar shop to relax. And I was enjoying a cigar, and they had the Pro Bowl on. So I half-assed watched a little bit of the Pro Bowl because I would look up and while I was smoking and talking and all that. That was a very memorable day because I remember that even Brandon Rodriguez left the back door unlocked and somebody stole another media member's laptop that was in there. And Brandon felt like shit and that was an interesting day, I remember. But that was the last time that I half-assed watched the Pro Bowl, and it was by accident only because they had it on in the cigar bar that I was at. Whatever year that was the last time that I kind of half-assed watched the Pro Bowl. I don't know what year it was. Maybe one of you can tell me. When the last time that Dallas hosted a Super Bowl. I want to say it was maybe 12 years ago or something like that, maybe 13, I don't know. But either way, I I'm so glad that they eliminated the Pro Bowl. It's a useless game. I don't watch any of them. The only one I watch is the Baseball All-Star Game. That's it. I don't watch the Pro Bowl. I don't watch basketball. I don't watch hockey. It's all garbage. They're not trying. It's different, man. And again, hate to do the old man card, but man, I'm so glad that I lived my era where they actually gave a shit about the Pro Bowl and were trying. And it was actual games. Basketball or even football, they were hitting each other back in the day. You go look at John Offerdahl stopping Eric Dickerson at the goal line. Go check that one out. I don't know. I'm sure it's somewhere on YouTube. John Offerdahl was like a goal line stance. I think it was Dickerson, if I remember correctly. The kind of shit that just doesn't happen nowadays. It's different, and I'm just glad that what you should do is, we used to have something called Battle of the Network Stars, and there used to be another thing, I forgot the name of it, but I remember they had like a quarterback competition, and you could see, I've got it on my feed from yesterday that I was answering somebody, and I put the one of Marino beating, winning it, and how he was hitting targets like freaking 50 yards away that were moving. Marino is just ridiculous, dude. What he could do with his arm and his accuracy was just stupid. I also posted the one of Lamar Jackson, who missed everything. But that's what you should do. Quarterback competitions, things that maybe like fun stuff like that fans can really enjoy, because they'll be competitive, at least in that. And there's little to no chance of getting injured. Why not do stuff like that? That would be cool. Except for Lamar Jackson, of course, you definitely don't want to do that, my man. You don't want to go to the QB competition. That won't go well for you. I'm going to laugh in your favor when Lamar wins a title this year. Yeah, no, I've been hearing that for every year, my brother. It's all right. And like all of you, you all disappear and you're all gone and all that. It's nothing new. Only memorable Pro Bowl for me was when Sean Taylor lit up the punter on a fake. R.I.P. Peter Cullen, the only guy to voice Optimus Prime, so long Prime, to all are one. Frankie says, to be honest, I'm upset at Tua because his demeanor changed a lot after he got paid and did not care. Omar mentioned Waddle pointed at Tua as the problem last season. Also, Chris Greer has a lot of blame. Who gives a shit, dude? Who cares, bro? Dolphins are a disaster at the end of Shula's run. Disaster and a joke with Jimmy at the end of every season getting embarrassed. Dave Wanstead also choking and doing nothing with a great defense. Bill Parcells was a joke with Jeff Ireland and Don Aponte and the joke that was going on in that whole place, and Mr. Field Goals, Tony Sperano, rest in peace. But I mean, is there a bigger joke than celebrating 3 points? Cam Cameron, you know what I'm saying? Mike Tannenbaum. Dude, the Dolphins are a pathetic joke. If you're worried about one situation, please, dude. They're a complete freaking clown show. Until further notice, the Dolphins are a pathetic joke. Have been, always have been, for decades, dude. This isn't something that just happened. This is the team that had Bullygate. This is the team that had an offensive line coach doing cocaine for a hooker. What are you talking about, dude? This is the one where we had a defensive lineman that was disappeared and said that he was abducted by aliens. I'm sorry. You must be confused with what team you're talking about. If you think that the latest stuff that went on is the most embarrassing stuff to go on, well, I've got a long-ass list for you. Okay? Whatever happened with Tua ain't nothing like giving away Anthony Carter for Robin Sendline. Nothing. It's not even close. Because you know Anthony Carter was one of the great wide receivers in the history of the game, and you gave him away. So I got plenty of stuff, dude. Trading for Hugh Green, and he blows his knee and is done. I could just go on and on and on, and drafting Sammy Smith, and just, please, dude. The Dolphins have been a despicable franchise for decades. At least to accomplish something. Most of our quarterbacks accomplish nothing. They're never one of the better quarterbacks in the league. At least he did something. You gave Ryan Tannehill all that money, kept him around for 7 years, and he did nothing at all. He could never win a game or anything. He couldn't even put up real stats. Garbage stats he was great at. So I use the big perspective. I don't worry about one little thing, you know. I could tell you about Mike Wallace, and we could talk about many, many other things that have gone on with the Miami Dolphins. So, yeah, that's I'm more pissed at the Dolphins in general than I'm going to worry about one player. Yeah, worry about the organization. That's an absolute joke. That's what you got to worry about. So we'll see if the organization one day becomes respectable again. But meanwhile, they're nothing but a joke. Dolphins have had issues, but if we're talking about the right now, that's who I blame. I don't worry about the right now. What's the difference between right now and 5 years ago and 10 years ago and 15 years ago and 20 years ago and 25 years ago and 30 years ago and 35 years ago? Still a joke. Right? Look at the head coach you just had. My God. It's terrible. Yeah, there's lots of things to blame, dude. Blame Ross, blame Huizenga. Neither one of them got it done. So they tried. Both have spent money, both have tried to get whatever they can to improve their teams and pay for whatever players, but they have failed. And those are just the facts now. That's what we got to live with, unfortunately. But it's just the whole thing to just make it like it's about now. Please, man. The franchise has been a joke since the 80s. What we did to Marino was a joke. You know? Anyway, Robert Griffin III says his sources in Cleveland. You want a joke? A bigger joke than the Dolphins? The Cleveland Browns are a bigger joke than the Miami Dolphins. There's probably no bigger joke in football than the Cleveland Browns. Well, apparently, Mr. Griffin Jr. says that the people in Cleveland are kind of disgusted with what's going on. Why? Because the Deshaun Watson situation was not a decision by the head coach. Now, listen, I don't have sources in Cleveland. Maybe Robert Griffin does. I wouldn't be surprised. But he says, sources tell me Deshaun Watson was not a Todd Monken choice as the starter, and many in the building thought Shedeur Sanders was the right move for the team on and off the field after Watson attacked the fans. I wouldn't disagree with that, but I would tell you this. I don't need an insider to know that that was the owner's decision. There's nothing that you've seen physically from Deshaun Watson, going back to our conversation, after you've been at the top of your game, he had years later now, what are we, 4 or 5 years removed from that? He has never shown the magic that he had before, because he had magic. Deshaun Watson was a player, dude. Clutch. That was the best part of his game. When you needed a big play, Deshaun Watson brought it, dude, all the time. Super impressive how Deshaun Watson would handle things. It was ridiculous how good that guy was, how clutch that guy was. He's never recaptured that at all. So I'm not surprised that this is the story that's coming out, because it's obvious. Browns want Deshaun to play for his pay. The fans deserve better, says Robert Griffin. Watson, by the way, has the 15th highest contract in the NFL, which was signed back in 2022. Although it's clear the Browns made a huge error in providing Watson with such a contract, his reputation is far beyond repair now. And it's true. Attacking the fans was, well, it shows you the trouble that he's been in and why he got in trouble, that he's not, while he was a great quarterback and he had that it factor, you can tell that he's not necessarily the brightest bulb in the chandelier, because he can't read the room and he can't figure out the things that he's done and how people view him and how people will never accept him one way or another, because I certainly would not have accepted him as a Dolphins quarterback. I've told you many, 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 many times over, my relationship with the Miami Dolphins would have changed drastically if they would have gone in that direction. That would have soured me big time on sports. Yeah. As much as I love football, yeah, I'm not for my team signing an absolute dirtbag just because I want to try to win. Yeah, I'm good. I can stay away from that. And I would have definitely not enjoyed that. So I'm glad that they didn't. But to see what's going on there, you can tell it's all on the owner. And maybe now, I will say this. This is actually good for Todd Monken, because he can get it out of the way already. And once he sucks and he can't play, he'll turn to the owner and say, we got to go with Shedeur. And then the owner can let it go and say, all right, that's it. I'll let him go. And finally, at the end of the year, I can let him go. And I gave it a chance. But you could tell that it's the owner's call, and he's still trying to justify the money that he gave him. But it also shows you what a lowlife the Cleveland Browns owner is. I'm a billionaire. I'm getting rid of the guy. He would not have been on my team a while back already. I would have already cut him. Yeah, I got to pay him all that money. So be it, dude. Deal with it. Whatever. But I made a mistake, a tragic mistake. I can't keep making the same mistake. And that's where you, as a Browns fan, for those of you out there that are Browns fans, that's the most disturbing part. Your team is so stupid, they're willing to make the same mistake over and over and over again. And that's by naming Watson the starter, by putting that dirtbag as your starter and putting him as the face of your organization. It just shows that you have no standards for your organization and you don't care who represents it. Why? Because of the almighty dollar. Since I'm paying him, I've got to justify it for myself. It's pretty gross. Pretty gross. Pretty despicable. And if I was a Browns fan, I would be highly disappointed there. All right. Messi has no control of the defense. He has control of the roster. Frankie, my brother, you're wrong, dude. Like, what are you, a Trumpy or something? You one of those idiots that can't admit they're wrong? Is that what it is? You're one of those Trump morons? Those stupid people? What's wrong with you, brother? Messi runs the show. Nobody plays there without his say. Offense, defense, goalkeeping. No coach manages without his say. No GM manages without his say. He's had a bunch of GMs. He's had a bunch of coaches. They're paying the salary that they have on that team is tenfold to everybody else out there. The fact that they've only won an MLS Cup is not enough. Messi has all control of everything. So wake up, my brother, and you're dead wrong. So stop making yourself look even worse by standing on something that doesn't mean shit. You heard it from Michelle Kaufman, and you've heard it from me. Okay? Both of us are telling you they've underachieved under Messi. And there's no defense. Once you lost to Atlanta in the first round, your shit was stained, bro. That's it. So you better win the MLS Cup this year, because if not, this is a failed experiment. You can't pay this amount of money way over everybody else and win that little. You've got to dominate. Dominate. But, of course, it's so top-heavy that you spend all the money on offense, because that's the way he wants it, to surround him around with his guys. This is how it goes. Falcone is here because he wants him here, not because of anybody else. And then they get rid of him. He's the one that's had 3 or 4 different head coaches or 3 or 4 different GMs. Messi, the GM, is killing Messi, the player, just like Shula, the GM, annihilated Shula, the coach. But you're not old enough to know about those things. But I'm old enough to know about them, experience it, live it, put it here in the file cabinet, and then use it as a reference when it happens over and over again. And now, 2 times in our history, we've had the same person that runs the show also hurt themselves in the process. I can't say it in the Heat because there's several people that run the show that ruin it for Spo. It's, but it's different. It's a different structure with the Heat. Different. So, there you go. Oh, you can agree they've underachieved now. Okay, well, underachieve and failure is the same thing. Again, the English language is something that escapes you. But, underachieving is a level of failure. I tried to explain that to you last time, Frankie. Underachieving is a level of failure, Frankie. Okay? I'm not sure if you didn't know that. If you didn't pass, you failed also, Frankie. I don't know if you know that. But if you didn't pass, you failed. If the buzzard rings, you failed. Oh, the buzzard rang. Well, you failed. Oh, you underachieved. Well, no, you failed. It's kind of the way it goes. Fail is all kinds of things. You know what I mean? You started off with sex, but you prematurely, you failed. You were doing it, but you failed. See, there's failure in lots of ways, Frankie. It just doesn't say fail in everything, but there's, there you go. Premature ejaculation is a failure, Frankie. You should get it checked out. Anyway, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo, or for those of you that struggle with the English language, Bitcoin's at 80,363. Please explain to Frankie that fail is an adjective that is described in many ways. A D is kind of failure there, Frankie. I don't know if you knew that, but a D is kind of like failing. It's just a different kind of fail, but you failed. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, wish I could post a GIF of MJ eating popcorn at the movie theater. Oh, Lordy. I love it. Cam Skattebo. Boy, I got to tell you, this is a guy that doesn't know about failure either, by the way. But Skattebo apparently is pissing off his own teammates. This is like a really stupid human being, as we know. Remember, concussions aren't real. Asthma, take a breath. Cam Skattebo's got a lot of theories for things in life. You know what I'm saying? So, according to Giants beat reporter, I know Pat Leonard well from the New York Daily News, things got heated on the field between Cam Skattebo and his teammates. According to the post from Leonard, the running back started a fight in practice. Cam started a fight in practice today. He slid down after reception and came dangerously close to taking out a couple of Giant DB's legs. The defense isn't allowed to hit. Javon Holland and Greg Newsome did not appreciate it, and the situation escalated between Skattebo and the guys. It says Skattebo had it coming. He ran over to linebacker Zaire Barnes the other day, too, when the defense wasn't hitting. He said his act is getting old to his defensive teammates. Reporter Connor Hughes also reported that Skattebo initiated a heated moment with two defensive backs and said the moment was a long time coming. Hughes also said the running back has been talking trash to the secondary lately. There was a scuffle initiated by Skattebo with Greg Newsome, Javon Holland. This was a long time coming. Skattebo had been talking trash to the secondary most of the summer, Hughes stated. What's wrong with this guy? Like, this is a king-size, stupid individual. This is a guy that doesn't have much brains. And clearly, if he's leading with his head and everything, he's going to end up injured again because he's a stupid person. You can't fix stupid. You got a stupid quarterback and you got a stupid running back. And by the way, I am not shortchanging anything here. I am being brutally honest. These are stupid individuals. Their ignorance is above and beyond, and they don't get it. Jackson Dart is a guy that will put his body at risk constantly, and as a quarterback, that's a stupid move. That's why I'm big on living in the pocket and make sure that will extend the hell out of your career. You run out of pure desperation. It should not even be designed. That's it. You run to take whatever yards they give you, slide, and stay away from contact. This moron doesn't know that. And the other moron doesn't know it either. That's one thing that, while John Harbaugh, took the job with the Giants, and he looked at Jackson Dart, who's got the skills to play quarterback in the NFL, don't get me wrong here. But the way he carries himself, it's not for long, dude. It's not. Again, I'm old. I lived to see Shula the GM kill Shula the coach, and now I've lived to see Messi the GM kill Messi the player. I've lived this. I lived Jim McMahon. I know who Jackson Dart is. His name is Jim McMahon. And that shit didn't work. And Jim McMahon was one hell of a quarterback, by the way. He had an arm. He could play the game. Super tough. Smart, actually. Smart guy. Now, on the field, he made a bunch of stupid decisions with his body. But he could read the field. He was a stud at BYU. I mean, this guy could play the game. And he does all the stupid things. And I look at Jackson Dart and I'm going, this is another moron. He should go visit Jim McMahon and see the stage where Jim McMahon is at. It's not good. So I look at this Cam Skattebo stuff, and I don't know how long John Harbaugh is going to be there, but something tells me that when he finishes his run with the Giants, Jackson Dart will not be the quarterback, and Cam Skattebo definitely will not be the running back, because there's no way somebody that stupid lasts very long in this league. All right. What else? He's one of the few running backs with CTE in his early 20s. Probably. Scatterbrain. I like that, Oscar Rojas. NorCal, insanity. I'm going for 200 burpees. If I get 199, I failed. That's right. There you go. I had a lot of D's, and I passed. Remember the learning curve, too. 80,674. We're looking to get back over 81 again. We got to 81.2 the other night. Looks like we're looking to get past 81.2. I was wondering with Bitcoin if we're going to have, a little bit of volatility still. I just kind of am waiting for late September, early October. I've been telling you this because I think one way or the other, whether they pass clarity or not, it does not matter. For Bitcoin. For crypto, it does matter, of course. But I think the CFTC they already talked about it. They're going to come up with their own rules, and they'll end up setting it up, and they'll move forward to a certain level. And then eventually, whenever you change presidents a couple years from now, and then that'll, obviously change stuff, and you'll rearrange things and all that. But one way or another, it's going to happen. Plus, we're now getting closer to the halving, and winter is always a strong time. And we always have a dead period of 300 and some odd days in the halving, before the halving, and we've already reached that point. I'm expecting, like I've seen in other breaks in the past, in the last 7 years, I've seen it twice, where at this time of the year, late September, early October, there's a serious explosion. I think what's happened now is obviously what's going on with the bond markets and all that stuff. And some people are foreshadowing it, and they're kind of getting ahead, and so they're being smart about it. But I think we catapult and soar to definitely new heights to the end of the year. Definitely. We'll pass the 127 mark, guaranteed. I'm expecting that. Let's see. I agree. Dart should stay in the pocket more. Every quarterback should try to live. Every quarterback needs to live in the pocket. If you have athleticism, you use it to your advantage when it's there to be taken, but it's not something that you try to challenge the defense with. That's not what a quarterback is. Look, Cam Newton got away with it because, bro, he was so big and strong that he could deliver some of those hits. But even Cam Newton got broken down eventually. And eventually Cam Newton could not play his game. And since he could never live in the pocket and he wasn't an accurate passer, he was done. When he went to New England, there was no way he was going to be a good quarterback because he's not a real pocket passer. And if he can't run and be himself, he's useless. But fortunately for him, he was freakish enough physically that he's the kind of quarterback that could take the kind of pounding that nobody has been able to take playing that kind of game. But eventually, look what happens. They all break you down. That's it. But some guys are, Tua's not built like Cam, so he can't take a fraction of the hits that Cam can take. And that's what was fortunate for Cam, that he was such a freak physically that he can endure. And that's what kept him alive. Just like Lamar Jackson, what's kept him alive has been his speed at running. Now his speed is not the same. Now they catch him more. Now they hit him more. Now he gets injured more. So now he's not playing as much because they break you down. And if you can't live in the pocket, eventually the league catches up to you. And you've seen two freaks that have been able to extend it because their athleticism was something you had never seen before. You'd never seen anybody that big, that strong, and that athletic in Cam Newton, and you've never seen a quarterback that can move and run like Lamar. And those are two things that kept them alive. It's not their arms, it's their athletic ability. But eventually that will run out. And now is the sands of the hourglass are now running out on Lamar like they were on Cam. He can't do what he can't play to his strengths anymore, and then that exposes his weaknesses. Cam couldn't run and dominate like he did, so in the pocket, he got exposed more. If Lamar can't run and be flying like the wind, then he will get exposed more in the pocket like he constantly does every year in the playoffs, by the way. Acura of Pembroke Pines, they've got the Summer of Performance sales event going on right now. The one and only Larry Schlossberg, I'll be hanging out with them tomorrow. The Integra, $239 a month. The ADX, $289 a month. The RDX, $419 a month. And the MDX, $489 a month. They got a great service center, Mike Chen, Jordan Ferber. They do amazing work. Tell them that Big O sent you. They will take care of you there at Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. And don't forget, use our code BIGO10. You will get 10% off at Caneswear, online or in person. And if you order over $99 when you order online, you will get free shipping too. Check it out. I guess everyone's definition of failure is different. I would say if Messi didn't win at least one, it would be a failure in my eyes. They're underachieving right now, but so they did. The big three went to 4 straight finals and won 2. Messi's only been to 1 final and won it, but only been to 1 final. It's a whole different ball game. And the Heat never did this, bro. The Heat weren't the number 1 seed and got eliminated by the last seed in the first round. Messi did that. Messi got eliminated by the worst team in the playoffs. Yeah, it's not even close. Don't even come close to comparing the big three to, and the payroll that Messi's team has, the next team, number 2, is so far away, it's ridiculous. And as Michelle Kaufman mentioned, what they pay Messi is more than what they pay 20 teams in the MLS. Messi's salary is bigger than 20 teams in the MLS. Don't even talk about all the other stars on the team. Okay? Forget about it. You add all the other stars, can you imagine? When you spend that kind of money compared to your opponents, and all you've done is win 1 title so far, you better win this year. Because it is a failure. You can't spend this amount of money compared to everybody else and only win 1 title. You just can't, dude. No, that's a failure. You have as many titles as the other teams that have won the last couple of years. That's not really productive. They didn't spend anything like you did, and they have as many titles as you. In the last 4 seasons, if we include this, or the 3 before this, there's 2 other teams that have a title just like Miami. So how is that impressive? Considering what you're spending. It's not. Not at all. It's underachieving. It's a failure. For sure, it's a failure. Yeah, you won 1. Big deal. That's not impressive, dude. You can't have the greatest player on planet Earth and only come up with one victory, one title. In a league that is, right, laughed at all over the world. And the guy dominates on the international level, so I don't even want to hear it. Without him, Argentina ain't shit in the World Cup. They would have been eliminated way earlier without Messi. $80,669. I like it. Yeah, so it's a failure. You got to win this year to make it, palatable, acceptable. Yeah. They built a team that they thought they would make the run and win the CONCACAF. Forget the MLS Cup. Their target was the CONCACAF. That's what they really wanted, because that was an international cup with other teams that would have given them way more. They would have put the CONCACAF trophy, and then they would have put the MLS trophy right next to it in a lower standard. That's how they would have put it in the trophy box. The CONCACAF would have been on top. And they thought they built a team that could go. They didn't think they were building a team to win the cup, the MLS Cup. No. They thought they were building an MLS team, a team to win the CONCACAF. And they got eliminated early. Really early. It was a bad outing by them in the CONCACAF, just like the playoffs 2 years ago, when they got eliminated in the first round by the worst team in the playoffs. Yeah. It's a failure, bro. You got to win this year to at least be on par. Let's say par. Because right now you're not par. I'll give you par if you win the MLS Cup. At least you've been productive. You're good. But if you don't win the MLS Cup, considering the money, there's no way that Jorge Mas is satisfied with the amount of money that he has spent on this roster to only have one MLS Cup. Yeah. They should be going for their third cup right now. And then we're talking. Yeah, that's the way I look. Personally, that's the way I look at it when you have a superior advantage to everybody in the league. Like a ridiculous advantage over everyone in the league when it comes to money. Big O, do you think overusing HN this season is a mistake? How many rushes on receiving targets should he get per game on average? NorCal, I don't know how to answer that. I really don't. Listen, I could tell you just in general, there's no reason to overuse HN. You're not going anywhere. I think it's about using him like in a fashion where you're just trying to win a game in the process, and when you're out of it, or I hope so. You got some kind of a lead, then you give them some rest and you start playing Ollie and Jay and start to find out if you got another back, because that's kind of what we need to find out, to get another back going. But I would not overuse HN. I would think that would be dumb to overuse HN this season, especially when it's the first year and he's got an extension that he just signed. You kind of want to keep him around for a few years. So I hope they're smart enough, because I thought McDaniel overused him at times. I think what's really important is that Jay or Ollie or anybody else step up and compliment HN. That's what I really would like to see. And by the way, these are Green Bay guys. They like to have two backs. Now, really, in Green Bay, they don't really like milking it with one guy. They usually like having a little bit of a carousel and use two guys instead of milking one guy over and over and over again in a bell cow. Yeah, that's usually not the Green Bay way. Green Bay way is usually having a rotation, having two guys. And I would imagine that if that's what they're influenced by, you got to try to develop that second back. Let's hope so. Yeah, Messi at least won one. At least. Yeah, it's not a complete failure, but they failed to a certain extent. Let's see. Big O, you answered I for sure. It's a mistake to overuse him. I agree. Yeah, definitely. The Heat have 2 final roster spots to fill. Should we fill it with defensive players? Should we fill it with three-point players? Should we fill it with players that could do both? What do you say? I don't know who's available. Try to get whatever you can, my brother. Try to get something younger. That's what I would like. Not more old guys. It's probably what I would say. I don't think that those guys are going to make that much of a difference in the grand scheme of things. Tua gave us some of the funnest years since Wildcat season of the Dolphins football. His body just went to shit. Also, no line to protect him. Yeah, no line to protect him, plus he didn't take care of himself. And a lot of the hits that he took, it was his fault too. Like the Jesse Davis one with the rib and the finger, I can't blame him for that. But I can blame him for the Green Bay one. He held that shit for 5 seconds. I can't blame him for the Buffalo one because that was kind of a late hit by the linebacker, and he went backwards and then hit his head. That one I can't blame him for. I can blame him for the Cincinnati Bengal one because he held it too long again. I can blame him for the Hamlin one because he was seeking the contact, which is, again, stupid on his part. I can blame him in college when 2 fat guys catch up to him and crush his hip because, bro, stop hanging on to the football. Look at it. 2 fat guys caught you. That means you're not very athletic. You know, like Baker Mayfield getting caught by a donut-eating cop. Bro, if you're getting caught by cops, you're not very athletic. So that's been proven. Let's just calm down now. Let's just get rid of the football. So it's part of it. There are things that I can't blame him for, and then there are things that I have to blame him for because he chose to be stupid. And when you're him, the last thing you can afford to be is stupid. You have to be exceptional at taking care of your body. Don't understand it. So yeah, there's plenty of blame to be placed everywhere, but some of it has to go on Tua for not reading the room and understanding himself, which is the weirdest thing. On another topic, Bitcoin, how long do you feel it will take before it skyrockets again? I've been telling you it starts now. In late September, early October, we skyrocket. And we go easily to 150 by the end of the year. Easy. We'll pass the 127 and we're going to the next levels now. Yeah. The bond market is only going to get worse. The stuff that they're doing now is just ridiculous. I mean, Scott Bessent's boss, his mentor, is the guy that came out and absolutely ripped him for doing what he's about to do. And the fact that they're going to, nobody's buying our debt, that's why we have to now buy our own debt. You know how ridiculous that is? And at the moment, you're taking away debt from 30-year bonds. That's what you're going to do, and put them into the short-term bonds. And right now, the short-term bonds are at a higher rate. Now, the short-term bonds can be manipulated, and that's what they're going to try to do, manipulate them and bring them down. But, you know, it's just, this is all quantitative easing in another way. And that's why you saw Bitcoin pump now. And if they're the bond vigilantes, if they come in and they really start dumping more bonds, you're going to see Bitcoin absolutely explode. We could go to 200,000. I think I think what we're waiting for is to see how bad this situation is going to be. You still have the war going on. You still have the tariffs going on. You have so many inflationary things going on that it's just destroying the dollar and destroying our economy. So I expect Bitcoin to explode big time. Plus, we're 370, 80, 90 days removed from the halving already, and usually we have that dead time, and we've gone through the dead time of crypto. Now I think we start pumping because we start working our way to the next halving, which is a little over a year from now. Yeah. We're headed for one crazy ass run coming up. Not that it's financial advice, never has been and never will be, because I know nothing. And we thank our friends at R&M Contractors. Since we were talking about Bitcoin and crypto there, Ray and Mike do great work. If you live in Dade and Broward County, if you're looking to complete remodel for your home, your condo, kitchen upgrades, appliances, waterproofing your terrace, balcony, flood test report, they do all of that. Impact windows and door installations, which will help your insurance premium. Reach out to them, folks. 305-345-3649. That's 305-345-3649. Go to their Instagram page so you can see the work yourself and be floored at RMC Fisher Island. That's RMC Fisher Island. All right. And don't forget Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo. Send in your questions, comments, insults. Bitcoin, by the way, is at 80,501. See if we can get back over 81 today. We'll see. Big O, the Dolphins realistically have 3 Hall of Fame candidates left, in my opinion. The list should look like this. Clayton first, because he was the second most dominating wide receiver. Kuchenberg, and then Webb. I like it. I don't know why Clayton hasn't made it already, and Duper. They both got the numbers. Doesn't make any sense. I don't think they'll ever get in because they haven't made it since. Kuchenberg, while I'm not a fan of the person because he had all those DUIs, he definitely, as a player, was an absolute badass, dude. Deserves to be there, and definitely Richmond Webb. Richmond Webb is, if Richmond came out of the era that if he actually went to media and was more out there, maybe people would, take some time to appreciate the great career he has and the great player that he was. God, Richmond Webb was money, dude. Money. And I would love to see him go in there because he's a Hall of Fame person and a Hall of Fame player. I got the honor to cover him throughout his entire career, and he was just a pleasure, man. Seriously. Just nothing but love for Richmond Webb. One of the best human beings you will ever run into in your life. Oh, and by the way, a great player. All right, but just an even better human being, and I will be his left tackle for the rest of his life, as long as I'm around, because I am forever grateful to Richmond, because when I was doing my job, he always made it easy in the worst moments, and that's really hard to do. It's really hard to go ask a human being after they failed, Frankie, because, you lost, had a rough game, and you got to go ask them about the loss or the rough game. And for that man to handle failure with class, he handled success with class, but to handle the failure with class, not a lot of players can do that. And it's really hard because nobody ever comes to ask us about our jobs after we had a horrible day. Maybe we had a terrible day, we screwed up a couple of times. Nobody comes right after work and you're walking out all frustrated and they don't stick a mic in your face and say, hey, why'd you screw it up today? You could have had those 2 sales and you said this and this and you ruined it. You know, you could have made $3,000 in commission today and now you didn't make jack shit. How's that? Nobody does that to us. Come out of the operating table, you lost somebody. Hey, what'd you do there? Why is it that that person is dead? Should you have done that? This? Should you have done this instead? Because I don't know what medical term to use in this whole thing. Nobody does that at all. But we do it to them. And it's really difficult to handle that kind of shit right after you lost and you're pissed. And yet Richmond Webb was just like Keith Sims. Jesus, man. Absolute gentleman in the worst situations. And that I appreciate the hell out of that. Because it's really easy to walk up to people when they're having success. Everybody can handle that shit. Like, I've always told this story of Kevin Brown. Kevin Brown is a first-class asshole. Seriously. Kevin Brown was a great pitcher, but as great a pitcher he was that great an asshole. A piece of shit. Just so I hope I'm being clear about what I think about Kevin Brown. He was Brown. What you leave in the toilet, that's Kevin Brown right there. You'd walk up to him after he struck out 10, 8 scoreless innings and all that. He's standing, rubbing his chest, leaning on the locker, and he wants to answer any questions. Oh, yeah, that was great. Yeah, I got him with a curve on that one. And oh, yeah, I got him with a cutter. I got him backdoor, this, that, whatever. Yeah, no, I was really feeling it today. And then when he loses, you walk in and Kevin Brown has got his feet crossed. He's sitting in a chair and his arms are folded and he's looking down. So how'd it go today? Kevin? What happened with the? I didn't have a good day. What happened in the 4th inning when you had that guy on a 3-2 count and there were 2 men on base, but unfortunately he took you out of the park. He got a good hit. That's it. Oh, I should have made the pitch. Didn't make the pitch. It was 1, 2, 3 word answers. Every single time that Kevin Brown was bad, which we're all human beings. You're going to have some bad days. But he had way more good days. He's Kevin Brown. But the few bad days, brother, there's no way. He wasn't going to explain to you, oh, yeah, man, in that 4th inning, you know, I thought I had him. I got him with the first pitch. I thought in that last one that maybe he wasn't expecting this, but he got me. Congratulations to him. You know, it was a rough one. I made a couple of mistakes, and it cost me the game today. You know, I got to do better next time. You know, something like that. No, you would never get that from Kevin Brown. Never. He was just going to be a punk. He was going to be an asshole. Richmond Webb, you got the same answer whether he won or he lost. It was thoughtful. It was understanding. It was right. He described the situation, whether it's his feelings, whether it's the play, whatever it is. And if you asked him about how he felt, and he'll tell you exactly in a gentleman-like way. So, Richmond Webb is just Hall of Fame human being, dude. So I would easily put him in the Hall of Fame, but I would also cherish him as a human being. That's what I would tell you about Richmond Webb. Ty in the Bronx. Thank you, sir, for the love on the super chat. And he puts Anderson, Scott, Kuchenberg, Madison, Surtain, Big O. There you go. Yep. Good people. Sam Madison, Pat Surtain, 2 other guys that I covered their whole careers, and pure gentlemen. Absolute gentlemen. Yep. They can handle the bad times and the good times the right way. Andrew says Marino never worried about taking a big hit from his blind side with Richmond Webb was at left tackle. And if he took it, he took it. Also, he was a tough guy. Dan would sit in that pocket until he had to make that throw. And he brought a level of toughness in that case that, was always very admirable. NorCal says Richmond Webb is pure gold. If he wore a gold jacket, he outshined the jacket. Amen? They don't make, the Lord does not make many human beings like Richmond Webb. Put it that way. Chad says, shit, you don't, my boss. Oh, he's asking me right after it happens. Huh? What? The shit, you don't, my boss. Oh, he's asking me right. Well, what happened? You lost me there. I'm not sure what that means, Chad. You're going to have to clear it up a little bit there, my brother. Wasn't there another Marlin legend you said that wasn't terrible as well? Moises Alou was, he's the worst. He's another, but he was just an asshole overall. Like, you never got any good moments practically with Moises Alou. He was just bad. That's it. Yeah, Keith Sims was golden with the media, Andrew. Awesome. Benito Santiago was tough to deal with at times, too. I don't remember anything good or bad with Benito, now that I think about it. I can't comment on that. I can't. I can't comment on that one. I don't know exactly how Benito was. I can't say he was in my time, but I don't remember my experiences good or bad with him at all. I'm trying to go into my computer here, and I don't remember anything, any interaction with Benito Santiago. Miami Barracuda says, refreshing to hear the insight on the good guys behind the scenes. Oh, thanks. There's a lot of good guys. Ton of them, really. Good people are pure gentlemen like Brandon Marshall, Tyreek Hill. Dante Culpepper wasn't a bad dude. I would not put Anthony, I would not put Dante Culpepper with Brandon Marshall and Tyreek Hill, dude. Dante had the knee stuff, and it wasn't a good trade, and it was a bad move by Saban, and all that, and he stuck it to the Dolphins with Oakland, and was it 5 TDs, right? I think he ran like 3 of them and threw 2 or something. But I would not put Culpepper anywhere near those guys. He wasn't like that. Yeah, no, that's not fair, Anthony. At least from my experiences, it's definitely not fair. Did I see the Drewski skit? It's hilarious, right? He's got a new one. Who's he doing now? Because when he did the crazy religious white chick, what's her name? With the eyes and all that stuff, that was funny. Big O Trace Armstrong has been at the Dolphins spring training camp this past week. He's looking to pay you the money he owes you. Yeah, bastard owes me $1,000. He owes me $1,000. So if I do see him, I'll say, yo, where's my money? You owe me $1,000. Trace Armstrong. You lost the bet. Fair and square. I remember I offered Kim Bocamper, I said, you want half? I was like, no. It was a bet of UM and the Gators. And he was all cocky. And I've told this story before. And he was all cocky in the locker room. And I go, come on, dude. The Canes can't hang with the Gators. And he goes, you want to bet? And I go, yeah, let's bet. What do you got? And he's the one that brought up the bet. And he's the one that brought up 1,000. And he thought my broke ass was going to say, no, because he, big shot player in those days and all that. And I go, yeah, let's go. 1,000. Bunch of media members were right there in front of us. It was in the locker room. All that. And Bo was busting my balls. I go, you want half? He goes, no. You got to back it up. Yeah. And by the way, let's not always be careful making bets and wagers with athletes. Okay? Because they're not really on the up and up. Yatil Green, you owe me $200 also. See, they stiff you, bro. They talk a lot of shit. But, the problem is, I haven't met an athlete that knows more about sports than I do. They know how to play their game, but they don't know the game and the history and the teams like I do. I've never met an athlete that knows more about a sport than I do. Ever in my life. Never. They know X's and O's that I'll never know. Sure. But when it comes to the history of the game and knowing who's better and who's what and being objective about it, they're all too personal, bro. They all have their hearts and their decisions. Athletes are the easiest people to take money from. Just want you to know that. The easiest people. Trace Armstrong, bet him because he's a Gator. Lost. Yatil Green, bet him because it's Plant City. He lost. I forgot. They were taking on like Northwestern or... It was like one of our powerhouse teams down here. St. Thomas, Northwestern. I don't know. It was something like that. And I told them, dude, what's wrong with you? You guys are nice up there, but football down here is at another level. Oh, I'll bet you 200. Let's go. I'll take your money. Easiest people to steal money from are athletes. They are the worst gamblers I have seen. And why? Because most of you will know more about their sport than they will. That's one thing I learned being in the media for 37 years and covering the locker rooms. Most players don't know jack shit about the history of their sport. Like I told you, I've never, ever met a player that knows more than I do about their sport. Ever. Nothing whatsoever. They have no perspective. They don't really know the history. It's very always half-ass and very myopic because it's like they're a receiver. They just know about receivers and who they follow or whatever, who they idolize or something like that. But they don't know shit about all the other positions. They don't know shit about the entire teams or anything like that. They don't take the time. Players don't actually take the time to learn the history of their own game. So they have no perspective. Their perspective comes from their play after they're in the league and only within their play. Notice Tony Romo was great at calling his football his time. After 2 years passed, he didn't keep up with it. He didn't know. He didn't do the work, and he got lost. Because there's a difference when you do it for a living every day. Every day you're watching, every day you're reading, every day you're keeping up with everything. It's a whole different ballgame, dude. What I do, athletes can't do, or most of them don't do because they don't have to. Man, you know how many athletes I've done post-game shows with? Trust me, I know. Easiest people to take money from are athletes in sporting bets. Big O, good luck collecting 200 from you. Good luck. I'm not going to get my 200 from you, Tio, or my 1,000 from Trace Armstrong. Never. Art Schleister owes you $5,000. Well, that was, see, you made a bet with Art Schleister. That was already wrong on your part because you should have known you were. But see, Trace Armstrong's a decent human being, and so is Yatil Green. Now, they obviously suck at making bets because they don't live up to it, but I didn't know that, but outside of that, they were pretty good people. You know, Marshall, Ocho Cinco, Tyreek. Now that's a group for you. Anthony Campos, if Serena Williams says yes, you go for it, Legend V. What does that mean if Serena says yes? What are you talking about, Anthony? If she says yes, you go for it, Legend V. I don't know. You talking about sex or something? You talking about playing her in tennis? What are you talking about? By the way, the woman's married. Big O, I'm collecting my Indy Navarrete Oscar win. Well, I don't know if she's winning it yet. We'll see if she wins it. That will be a nice feat for her. All right. How's the markets doing? All right, the market's up 165. S&P's up 49. All right. Got some movement going on. What else do I have to talk about here on the show? That's it. Pretty much I did talk about Seth Curry and the Warriors. They're expected to discuss a contract extension to keep him for the entirety of his career. Anthony Slater broke that story yesterday. I laughed my ass off because I was watching, like on social media, Heat sites. I told you I was listening to QAM last week, I think it was, and one of the shows, I think it was Tobin and Leroy, and they were talking about, yeah, it was, because I was on my way to Hialeah. Yes. And they were talking about Steph Curry coming here, and I'm like, come on, dude. What kind of ridiculous shit is that? There's no chance that's going to happen. Of course they're going to keep a guy like that. You keep in your organization forever. He's won all the titles. He doesn't need to really go anywhere anymore. He's done. And people, he sold his house. Well, maybe that's because of the new California tax laws. And maybe he wants to do it now because a new law kicks in 2027 that maybe it's going to, who knows? Maybe he's now planning to call another state his home. You just never know. For tax purposes, a lot of people are moving out of California because I don't blame them because that's a crazy-ass state. I mean, that side might put that nutbag in the White House right after this nutbag. That's what I'm, crazy shit like that. So I don't blame him for doing those kind of things. But again, the average sports fan isn't thinking like I am about what's really going on fiscally in California and why maybe he sold that house because, there's a lot of rich people in California that are kind of exiting and moving funds and things like that so they don't get taxed there anymore because it's getting crazy. But, the silly-ass NBA fans or whatever, writers, may not know about that, may not think about that, so they think, he's selling his house. Oh, for sure he's going to get traded. He's going to request to come to Miami now. Yeah, right. Yeah, dude. Yeah. And here's the other thing about the silliness of Miami Heat fan base, because let me tell you something. If there's a fan base that is on a level of being super ridiculous, it's the Heat fan base. What would make you think that Steph Curry would want to come here? And if he wants to win a title, why would he want to come here? The only people that think the Heat are sexy are the delusional that live here, or maybe some of them that write about it. But just to remind you and just to kind of give you reality, Miami is not a destination right now. The Heat organization in the NBA is not a destination place anymore. It hasn't been for a while. I'm not sure. This is not a championship caliber team. It's not even close, with or without Steph Curry. The shit that people come up with just to entertain themselves, it's baffling. Funny, too. Entertaining. Because in the end, I'm the guy that ends up laughing at their asses because they just come up with some really stupid shit. Steph Curry to Miami. Well, no, it's not going to happen. Maybe he's just fiscally planning and doing some smart things so the idiots in California don't take away your money, because they love taking away your money there in California. Anyway, appreciate all of you out there. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for supporting the show as always. We shall see you tomorrow morning from Acura of Pembroke Pines. Same time, same place, same bat channel.